Dalal Street fails to hold opening gains to end the day flat. Nifty ends below 23,800. Posts losses for the third consecutive series for the first in nearly 2 years.
Ola Electric ramps up to add 3,200 stores with service stations, taking its total store tally to the targeted 4,000 mark. The expansion takes it well beyond the metros to several Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities.
The Indian rupee hits another record low as it continues to weaken against the US dollar. Rupee has hit a fresh time low for 7 consecutive trading sessions.
Hello and welcome to Markets Forward, your go-to show where we aim to get you all the key data points and all the highlights from not just today's trading session, but also gear you up for what's coming ahead tomorrow. I'm Surbhi Upadhyay, and with me is Vinny Motiwala. So, Vinny, it was an interesting session. I mean, interesting in the sense that it just was around the flat line. We started with a pop, and then there was just range-bound trade through it all.
Through it all, and in the last couple of trading sessions also, Shrilbi, when you look at it, this 23,800, we just go above that, come back down. This 23,700, 800 is where we've been trending at. Though mid-cap recovery today was quite better than the small cap, or even in terms of the market as well. So some bit of a green at least coming in from the mid-cap side, and almost near the day's highest point at what it managed to close.
No,
at.
Absolutely. I mean, this week, the bulls have not managed to take out the 200 DMA at all. Santa's not obliged. I mean, whenever he comes in at around 9:15 and he's out of the door by 10 o'clock. That's been the shape of the market, and today was no exception. And therefore, we had this very, very listless sort of a trade. But the fact that mid-caps are under pressure, that's something that you take note of. Though individual stock level trades really caught the attention. We'll talk about some of those stocks as we go forward. There were a lot of high flyers, which we'll get to. But, you know, banks, IT, none of the big engines, none of them were really fired up today. In fact, the Bank Nifty also lost its mojo completely. It was a downtrending market. If you look at the Bank Nifty or the charts for ICICI Bank, etc., most of them were on the way down. Well, let's move on and tell you what we are covering on the show today. Here is the lineup. We'll be starting with the key movers and shakers. Vivek will give us a more detailed account of how stocks fared. The ones that are on our radar include Ola Electric. The company is planning to expand its store count. So we'll talk about that stock. And then, of course, we'll also dive into a lot of the events that you can watch out for tomorrow. But first up, let's go to Vivek and get a sense of the movers and shakers. Vivek.
Well, thank you so much. Like you mentioned, largely listless trading session and seeing a lot of selling pressure throughout the trading day. But quite a few gainers as well. One particular segment of the market that did stand out was the entire auto pack today. The entire auto pack amongst the top gainers, even within the Nifty 50 index. So most of the names like M&M, Maruti did see quite a bit of a strong bounce in the session today. The other set of stocks that managed to do quite well and especially saw some buying interest in the second half of the trading session was the pharma pack. So names like Gland Pharma, Divi, Sun Pharma, these are some of the stocks that managed to end the day with some gains. Now, another stock, especially if you're talking about one from the mid-cap IT space, this particular stock has moved, for almost 2 out of the last 3 trading sessions, seen significant strong up move, and that's Intellect Design Arena today, ending as the top gainer as far as the NSE 500 index is concerned. And another stock that managed to do quite well was CG Power in the mid-cap end of the market, and that too managed to end the day with decent gains. But when you're talking about some of the losers, have a look at Cummins. Throughout the trading session, did see some selling pressure, managed to rebound, after the intraday lows, but Motilal Oswal indicates that there could be some muted demand trends that the company would have witnessed as far as the months of October and November are concerned. The other stock was Hindustan Copper. Throughout the trading session, this particular stock saw selling pressure, down almost 6.5%. And lastly, Page Industries, this particular stock on decent volumes today, ended as one of the top drags as far as the broader end of the markets was concerned.
Okay, Vivek, thank you so much for that. Those were the top stock movers in trade today. On that note, let's go across to our guests who are joining in with us. Right now, we do have Amrish Baliga, independent market expert, joining in with us on the show. Thank you so much, Amrish, for joining in with us. Let's talk a bit about the market. Range-bound session. Everyone seems to have already gone to that holiday season. No one is interested here, but what are we expecting in terms of the market? What is it that we should be watching out for? And which sectors is something that you should be keeping an eye out on right now?
My view is still a bit cautious as far as the market is concerned, because if you look at the macro numbers, they've been concerning. I mean, we had seen Q1 like numbers which saw a bit of a downtick, but we thought it was a blip. Q2 was mostly disappointing, and now in January when we see Q3, I really don't expect the numbers should be better than Q2. It could in fact be worse. So I think that's, that could be concerning as far as the market is concerned. Now, you look at the inflation, that's an issue. Rupee has been depreciating, which is again negative. So you look around and most of the numbers show that the markets have to correct further from here. So in fact, I'm looking at levels of about 22,000, 22,500 on the Nifty. I think that's the level where I think valuations would again start looking decent. And I think the things we watched out for first, like I said, the Q3 numbers from the second week of January. And I think most important event would be Trump's inauguration day on 20th of Jan. On that day onwards, I think on a daily.
Oh, I think we've just lost that feed with Ambrish. We'll get him back in just a bit. Let's do one thing. Let's look at some of the stocks that are in focus. Like we've been telling you, Ola has been making headlines with their store rollout. 4,000 is the count right now. And the stock originally opened higher, but then again, with the rest of the market, it kind of drifted along into negative territory by the end of it. Now they are looking to add 3,200 stores with service stations. Let's go across to Sudarshan. He's been tracking the counter and the details around it. So I guess this has been one of the biggest trouble spots or problem points with Ola, right? That they need to ramp up their service network. So what is the company saying now?
That's true. So Ola Electric was in focus today after company expands its store count to 4,000 with an addition of new 3,200 stores. The positive about these new additions are these new stores are co-located with service centers. If you remember, over the past few months, company has been facing issues related to services. Even Consumer Affairs Ministry had served the company show cause notice. And apart from these new store additions, company has also launched the beta version of operating system and named it Move OS 5. And some of the features of these operating systems include group navigation and live location sharing. One interesting launch that company has made, it has launched a limited edition of Ola S1 Pro Sona, and as per company, it says it has launched this with real 24-karat gold-plated elements. But apart from these things, the important part about Ola is it's the market share, because company has been losing market share since the beginning of April. In April of FY25, market share was 52%, and 2 weeks ago its market share had dropped to 18%. But it has made a minor improvement. Now its market share is at 20%. But talking about the today's trading session, stock had opened with a gain of 6%, but closed in the red.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. Yes, Ola did close with a bit of a decline of almost 0.4% in trade. But Amrish is back with us. And Amrish, what are your thoughts on Ola Electric? It's gone through its fair share of downs actually coming in after the listing. What are we watching out for? Is this something that you would look at as a play coming in for the two-wheeler electric vehicle space? Or maybe, the bigger players is what you're looking at?
No, see, first of all, we had that controversy as far as the service is concerned from Ola. I think that's what they're setting right now with the additional, I think, 3,200 more stores and service centers around that. So I think to a large extent that will get sorted out. And I think the other thing to be looked forward to, possibly this, we are still about 5-6 months away. I think they are launching two models at much lower prices, about 60,000-70,000, and one at about 40,000 and 50,000. I think this will be disruptive pricing as far as this segment is concerned. So I think this is what will again launch Ola back into that higher sort of market share game. If there's a further correction from here, even at 90 to 93 levels, it's a decent buy. But then looking at the way the markets are, I suppose we could get it at about 80, 82 levels. So I think one should buy at these levels, buy more at 80, 82, and just hold on for the next at least 6 to 8 months. That's when I think you'll get a decent return.
Okay, all right, Ambrish got that. Let's move on to the next stock, Segal India. Now, this one was trading higher today after the company announced a concessions agreement that it has signed with NHAI. We have Vivek back to give us the details. Vivek?
That's right. One of the few bright spots as far as the broader end of the market was concerned, infra player Seagull India actually went ahead and announced to the exchanges that they signed a concession agreement with the NHAI. Now, this particular project is for a 981 crore worth project. Company is expected to complete the project within 24 months. And remember, the company will be operating this particular asset post-completion of construction of this particular highway. Now, remember at the end of Q2, company enjoyed an order book of a little over 12,100 crore, and company currently has 22 ongoing projects. It's a recent listing. Stock is trading below the listing price, but today you did see a bit of an up move on the back of a pretty significant order win that the company received.
Okay, all right, got it. Thanks for that. Let's go back to Amrish and ask him. Amrish, Seagull, it's a recent, not too recent listing, but it's all stocks of 2024 that have made their debut on the street. How do you find this one?
I mean, see, all those order win is a good news, no doubt, for Seagull. But then, the issue was at a decently high price, and because of which we did not see extremely good sort of a response for the issue. And then we have seen it opening also lower, and it is still lower than the IPO price. If you look at something like a J Kumar, that looks much cheaper. Similar sort of business, but that looks much cheaper than this. So I would not be a buyer in Seagull at this point of time. I would surely prefer something like a J Kumar.
Okay, that's the word coming in. You would prefer something like a J Kumar. Ruchit, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining with us on the show. Ruchit, what are you looking at? We've spoken about a couple of names today. We have Ola Electric, Seagull, which is in focus as well. Now, Seagull obviously is just fairly recently listed, so not much in terms of charts. But Ola Electric, any word on that front?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon to all of you. We have seen some pullback move in the auto space today. And Ola Electric, specifically, if you see in the recent past, then the stock has been consolidating within this range of 90 to 110, 112. Then there are no signs of breakout as of now from this range. Yes, if any existing long positions are there, then they should be hold with the stop loss somewhere below 89. But from a momentum perspective, I think until the stock gives a breakout above that 102, 104 mark, I think one should wait for a breakout for any directional up move.
Okay, Ruchit. So, give us an overall view. On the indices and any fresh trades, maybe not the index, but the stock, considering the market is now thin on volumes, thin on ideas and news flow as well.
Yes, last three trading sessions, in fact, if you look at the Nifty, then it has been trading within the same range. So there are no signs of any directional move over here. But there has been a good stock-specific action. And if we look at all the sectoral indices, then I think one index which is standing out is Nifty Pharma. This index has given a consolidation from a falling trendline resistance. It has consolidated above its key moving average support. So I think pharma stocks, if one is looking from a near-term trading perspective, then one should look out for opportunities from stocks within this name. Now, a couple of large cap names from this sector which has given a breakout. One is Sun Pharma, where today we witnessed about 10 to 12 days of consolidation breakout on the daily chart, supported by good volumes towards the end of the day. So I think this is one stock which one can look for buying over here with stop loss below 1790 for potential targets around 1930. And Lupin, again, within the large cap names is looking positive, where relatively, when the pharma space was showing correction, the stock has shown a relative outperformance compared to other stocks. So I think this stock too has potential to test its previous swing highs, which were around 2300. So pharma is one name which we are looking out for, with a positive bias from a near-term perspective.
Okay, pharma, positive bias from a near-term perspective. Ruchit as well as Amrish, thank you so much for joining in with us on the show. It's always a pleasure having you both. On that note, we are going to slip into a very short break. But after the break, we'll get you the top corporate voices along with the key market events to watch out for in trade on tomorrow's trading session. Welcome back to Markets Forward on CNBC-TV18. Let's move on. And BSE is one of the top gainers of 2024. The stock surged more than 145% in 2024 so far. But HDFC Institutional Equities in a recent note says that there was a notional volume that dipped significantly across equity exchanges after one weekly expiry per exchange was implemented, and also has reduced rating on the stock. Earlier, we spoke to Sundaraman Ramamurthy, who is the Managing Director Director and the CEO of BSE, to discuss this and more in terms of details. Listen in to what he had to say.
SEBI implemented all the rules in order to ensure market protection and also bringing better participation in the market compared to anybody participating. So from that, one of the important the requirements or rather outcome expected was there will be a rationalization of the notional volumes across exchanges post-implementation. And the expectation was to bring down the notional because there were too much of froth in the market. That's what some of the people were feeling. And also this month has been a month of lot of turmoil with lot of activity in US post the elections and the Fed rate cut and India's inflation numbers being perceived as high. Multiple reasons because of which the market went up to say 85,000, 86,000 and then came to 72,000, 77,000 and then went to the type of a market movement has been seen. The income earned is based on premium. The one part of the expenditure is based on notional. Another is based on the number of contracts. If the quality of premium improves compared to the fall in notional and also the fall in the number of contracts traded because the contract size is also going up, naturally then it will lead to an advantageous situation compared to a disadvantageous situation, because while the income will increase because of the premium quality becoming better, the cost will come down because of the notional and the number of contracts coming down. I've always been maintaining that India is a very large country and there is more room for more products. Now suddenly the number of products have come down. So one more product coming in is, I think from a market perspective, is good for them. I also saw that MSCI is the Metropolitan Exchange is trying to revive itself by issuing fresh shares and more market participants are taking part of it. I think it's a healthy sign. One important thing always comes to me is success of a product lies in its utility and market awareness. So these two are very important constituents to make a product success.
Now was BSE. We also caught up with the management of PG Electroplast. The company has been in focus as it signed a definitive agreement for contract manufacturing of select models of Whirlpool's semi-automatic washing machines. To talk about this and the business prospects, we caught up with Vikas Gupta, Managing Director of PG Electroplast.
We have been in discussion with Whirlpool for this washing machine business for quite a while. And we are happy to announce that we have been able to convince them to look at outsourcing as an option. And we see a strong momentum in our washing machine business with this deal. And we are confident that we should be able to maintain a CAGR of almost around 30 to 40% for coming 3-4 years in our washing machine business as well. So, and the overall guidance for the revenues still stands at 4,250 crores. We might be updating our revenue guidance going forward. Whirlpool deal will definitely help us in further boosting up our guidance for FY26. But we will have to wait for a few more months. I think we should be making a specific guidance on FY26 once we close FY25 numbers and we make an announcement on our FY25 numbers. At the same time, we will be releasing a guidance on FY26 numbers also. But we are confident that we should be able to maintain a CAGR of 35-40% very, very easily for the coming FY26, FY27 as well. We are in process of expanding our capacities in washing machine business as well as in our AC business as well. So currently, we have a capex guidance of almost around 370 to 380 crores for FY25, which we are closing. And for FY26, we'll be making a capex guidance. But definitely, we are increasing our capacity for washing machines to almost 2.4 million units per annum.
Have not seen a sharp pickup in demand so far, but we are expecting an improvement in January. That's the word coming in from Sandeep Ghosh, Managing Director and CEO at Bajaj Corporation. Take a look.
The prices have moved up by and large in most regions, except so much in the south. And the increase is modest, though. I would place the increase between 5 to 7 rupees a bag, which is, say, around 150 rupees a ton. So that is there, and I do hope, I do expect it to be to hold on, and especially things should pick up further in January once both the cold recedes, and then there is also this whole impact in the north of what they call the Malmas. During mid-December to mid-January, there are no new constructions, particularly in the individual home sector, which start. Large players, again, I think instead of exercising pricing power, they will be greatly focused on costs. Especially one of the large players is, focusing a great deal on the supply chain, doing major disruptive, changes, moves in the supply chain, because they have, and that is as per their stated policy. So you will see a lot more focus coming in on cost savings rather than taking huge price increases. That's my overall assessment. But certainly FY26 looks better than what FY25 and FY24 second half was.
All right, and before we wrap up, let's talk about some of the important market events that you can watch out for tomorrow. Abhishek is here with the details. Abhishek.
Well, to begin with, in India, RBI's foreign exchange reserve data will come out. Last time it was around $652.9 billion. Also, watch out for the M3 growth rate that has come in from RBI. Last time it was at 10%, which is one of the lowest that you were seeing in last 3 fortnights. There will be stocks which are going ex-right issue. So, Anupam Finserv as well as Dhanlakshmi Bank. Ex-bonus issue, you'll see NMDC going. The bonus was about 2:1 over there. There will be a stock split as well. Majgaon Dock, their face value will split from ₹10 to ₹5. And in terms of another board meet will be taking place tomorrow. IOL Chemicals will hold a board meet to consider their stock split. And there will be new listings tomorrow, 5 of them. To begin with, Dam Capital, Mamta Machinery, Translair Lightning, Sanatan Textiles, as well as Concord Enviro Systems, which will get listed tomorrow. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Abhishek. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Markets Forward on CNBC TV18. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more news and updates after this.